Shalom. Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Ooh, praise Almighty. Hopefully you guys had a good day. Good Sabbath so far. Got some rest. I slept pretty decent. Learned some new stuff. What's going on? Good fellowships on the Zoom last night. Definitely appreciate all the people we were able to Zoom. It's a major blessing. Take it 1 week at a time. Make every dollar count. Take some of your paycheck and use it to invest in yourself. The best investment is investing in yourself. Figure out things. Say some of this paycheck, some of this money needs to make more money. Whether you could do it that paycheck or you got to save up a couple of paychecks, but put it to the side, put it to the side, put it to the side, put it in some kind of investment, put it in some kind of whether S&P index fund, something that can make you more money. Have your money make you more money. Kind of like what they said, the poor people think about what they could spend with their money. The rich people think about what they can invest with their money. You know, when we get a lump sum of money, I wonder how many people with their stimulus got a system in their car. With their stimulus, they bought a new car. When the system, they got some new furniture. And not that they needed new furniture, but they just did it. They got some new clothes. Not that they needed new clothes, they just did it. Just a flash. You know, so I wonder how many people do that versus how many people invested. Like some of those people that invested in certain things and it took off with their stimulus. So always have that in mind, especially now because I'm gonna deal with a little bit of news today. How much time we got? Got what? 2 more minutes. Deal with a little bit of news today, but definitely keep pressing. Try to be a better man. Try to be a better woman. You know, think about things you could work on. Not only just financially, but being a better parent or looking at some of your characteristic flaws. It's hard for some people to even see that they have this flaw. Too many times people come to them and show it, but they just don't want to see it. Whether you've been into 3 or 4 or 5 different relationships, and yeah, you know, you could date douchebag people, but maybe some of the problems is you have ego or you're arrogant or you're stubborn or you can't take correction or, you know, maybe you got to reflect on yourself and realize like, hey, I got some spiritual flaws. Not only characteristic flaws, but I got some fruits of the spirit I'm lacking, and this is producing bad results in my life. A lot of my success is attributed to self-affliction, you know, and not because of, oh, I'm a Hebrew or this or that. Some of it is just because your attitude. No one wants to hire or keep someone employed that has a bad attitude. No one wants to keep someone employed that's late all the time. No one wants to keep someone employed that no one could even talk to them. They're unapproachable. They're argumentative. They're contentious. You know, they always like, I have this dude I'm real close with. How much time we got? I'm real close. Every time I try to share with this group I'm with about doing better or something that could potentially make more money, he always comes with something negative. Like, um, you know, I put some investments. I don't really talk about how to make money too much because I'm here to preach, uh, you know, salvation. So I don't really deal with that. I have my own insider group with people that are baptized, and we be about our money and be about doing things. But other than that, I'm here to save souls. But when I share these things, um, like they are happy when, you know, things go down. They bring that. They're quick to bring up the negative to me. Hey, you see what happened in this? You see what happened in this? But then when I succeed, it's almost like they want to find something negative. And then I came to realization that some people just don't want you to succeed. Like, and even though you know that, but when you get it, when it's people close to you, you're like, man, I didn't expect you to do that. I expect these random people, I could just be getting out my car and crossing the street and they see I'm walking, and because they have a nice car or whatever, they think that they're better than you. And if they had a means to help you to succeed, they wouldn't tell you because they don't want you to be equal to you. They just like Hebrews, they don't want Hebrew people to make just as much money as them because that doesn't give that doesn't feed into their superiority complex. Then that means all this gain, oh, I got more money than you, this and this and this, look at your hair, you're dark, you're this, all that stuff starts trickling down, and they can't feel superior. So it's better for me to oppress you to feed my own wickedness and how I feel about you, or how I feel about people that make less than me. It don't even have to be about a prejudice thing, than to help you get to where I'm at. Versus me, I help people get to where I'm at. But I had this thing, and some people disagree. Some brothers or sisters voted. I don't help non-believers make money. I don't. I will help people, and I'm there to give the light. I'm there to give the gospel. But as far as people that I'm trying to save souls, I don't really talk about money. I talk about improving whatnot. But I'm not here to help you. If you want help to make money, there's other YouTube videos and whatnot. But when it comes to brothers and sisters that are in the Almighty, I will lace them up with the stuff that's working for me. I don't talk about too much what I'm doing. I will not do that because I'm here to save souls. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to save souls. But it surprises me when people close to you just don't want you to succeed. Some person that's pretty close to me, it's just like, man, that caught me off guard. I didn't expect that from you, man. Like, why, wouldn't you want me to succeed? You know what I'm saying? And mainly because I'm in the union and I'm doing things to where I don't have to go to 55. I don't have to retire at 55. But in the union, you get a pretty nice retirement. If I did my 55, I'll get 6 G's a month and whatnot. So our union's pretty strong. And yeah, it's whatever. But after medical and whatnot, you probably get like 4 G's or something. Maybe like 1,200 a week or something. I don't know. But my plans, I don't plan to do that. I don't plan to work to 55. That's not my goal for some other man to dictate when I retire. I'm trying to retire as fast as possible. I thought that's the name of the game. You figure out a career, you figure out means to make money, and you retire as fast as possible. Forget you and your pension. I'm doing this, and if all else fails, then I have 55 years old. That means I applied myself and I tried hard and things just didn't click. Or I didn't apply myself and I got lazy and I just stayed in the union until I'm 55 and then I retired making 6 G's a month or whatever. But regardless, no, I don't want another man to dictate when I get a raise. Like, we get a raise once a year. So I dictate hanging on the carrot, waiting for them to give me a raise, waiting for them to choose my destiny. They choose my pay. When do I get a raise? When I retire? No, I'm cool. That's not what I have planned for my life, and nor will I ever. You know what I'm saying? We all got to be our own man, and not everyone's an entrepreneur, and everyone starts off with a job. Not everyone, but vast majority. But use those as stepping stools. Learn what this job used to succeed and apply that to your principles and your morals to succeed in your endeavors. So, as we grow, try to be better people, try to self-reflect. I think that's my rant for 5 minutes. I went past 5 minutes. So let's get this party started. Oh, where's everyone at? Everyone's not here today? Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna do some teaching today because usually I do some preaching and whatnot, and I personally like teaching myself. I veer towards teaching, but seeing that the Almighty is putting me in a situation where I need to preach more, I tend to hit with messages instead of teach. So we're gonna be dealing with First Corinthians. We're gonna break down the whole Bible in First Corinthians and break down almost every chapter. We're going to deal with the chapters we don't hit on, but my main point is to say that in a body, even in the body, how they use that, oh, there is no perfect church. Well, that's a lie. But because Revelations proves that. But even in the body, you have people in different walks in their walking with the Most High. Some are babes, and some are mature, or some are elders that have been serving the Almighty strong, and they got complacent. I find myself seeing where I have to go back and say, nah, I had stronger convictions when I first came to the Almighty. I need to go back to my old ways. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, it's not that. No, no, no. Stick to your old convictions. Stick to those convictions that were strong, that were sharp. Don't get complacent just because I've been teaching for so long, or I've been walking the Almighty, or I read the Bible so much. Oh, well, I don't really need to. No, no. Keep your convictions. Keep seeking the Almighty. Keep seeking and fasting. Keep seeking and praying. Keep seeking and calling people. Keep seeking and, we get complacent, and that's where people get hurt on the job. You know what I'm saying? And that same thing with your walk with the Most High. We've seen it with Solomon. We've seen it with David. We've seen it with Eli. We've seen it with Asa. They were serving the Almighty. We've seen it with Balaam. They got comfortable, and then they start slipping, and the Almighty had to pass judgment. So we're going to deal with First Corinthians. All these things that this congregation, or these groups of congregation, this or not even demographic, geographical location, all these people in different, because remember, they were persecuted, so they had uh, congregations in people's houses, and so he's sending this letter out to all the people and all the Corinthian people, in that whole location. So let's go ahead and let's get with First Corinthians. We'll do a chapter 2, and we're going to start at verse 12. Chapter 2, verse 12. Now I have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of the Most High, that we might know the things that are freely given unto us of the Most High, which things we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teaches, but the Ruach HaKodesh teaches, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man, check this out, he says, the natural man receiveth not these things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto them, neither can they know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man, because he's not sinning. Because for you to pass judgment is you to condemn a behavior. This is why people say you can't judge me. Yeah, you can. To pass judgment is to condemn behavior. So let's keep going. For who have known the mind of the Almighty that he may instruct them, but we have the mind of Amashiach. I, brethren, could not speak unto you as spiritual, but as unto carnal, even unto babes in Amashiach. So he's talking about spiritual things. In the very next chapter, he says, I can't even talk to you like you guys are spiritual, because you guys are carnal right now. Even babes, you guys are people that like just got baptized, that's still pooping in the pants. People that got baptized, they maybe stopped smoking, stopped drinking, they stopped the bigger things, and they repented enough to get baptized, but there's still so much knowledge in the word and in the holy scriptures they have not learned. So they're going to be making mistakes, not that they're intentionally trying to make the mistakes, but just because they need more time in the word. They need more knowledge. They need to read the Bible 3 or 4 more times to get these things that I can't teach. There's only roughly 52 Sabbaths in a year, so that's 52 messages I could teach, and the Holy Scriptures is far beyond 52 Sabbaths. So where are you going to get this other instruction from the Most High? Through prayer and fasting and supplication, and through reading of your word. So these babes need more time to be mature in the gospel. Let's keep going. Now let's go with verse 1. We read verse 1. So verse 2, chapter 3, verse 2. I have fed you with milk and not with meat, for hereton you are not able to bear it, neither yet now are you able. It says, I'm feeding you with milk. You should be able to have meat, but you're still at the milk stage because you're carnal. For are you not carnal, whereas you are among you envying and strife and divisions? Are you not carnal and walk as man? Now look, he's saying, man, you got envious, you got strife one another. It's kind of windy, so I'm holding my pages. It says, man, these things are you not carnal? Why are you envying brothers? Why do you have strife with brothers? Let's keep going. This is in the body. This is the group of believers that were baptized and repented and got their teaching directly from an apostle. Directly from an apostle. Let's keep going. For one saith, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos. Are you not carnal? And this is the same thing. What camp you from? I'm from IUIC. I'm from GOCC. I'm from IUSUPK. I'm from this. I'm from that. I'm from this. I'm like, hey, what congregation you go to? You know what I'm saying? And I say it like that. And I always said I am not the only teacher. I've always said, hey, if you could find someone preaching truth, and hey, there's a time I went to a gentleman. He's Hispanic. I'm not going to put him on blast because he watches sometimes. Good buddy of mine. So I said, hey, man, I know that, you may feel uncomfortable, because I could tell he wants to serve, but he feels comfortable going to a Hispanic congregation. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? I said, hey, I found a Guatemalan teacher and righteous. I don't know if he has a YouTube, but I'll send him the link. And hey, you might want to check out that congregation because he teaches truth and he's around close to your peeps. He's Guatemalan, Mexico. They border pretty much same thing. They're all Mayan or Aztec or Inca or whatnot. Maybe not Mayan, Inca or Aztec. Same people, right? So, and I put him on that because even though that shouldn't be a barrier, but I don't want that to stop him from being saved. because he's not prejudiced. You know what? He's my boy and whatnot. He opened his house to me, everything. He's cool people, right? But I don't want that to be a barrier for his salvation. And that's because I'm not saying, oh, what camp you from? Oh, you of Apollos? I'm of Paul. And they started a clique between who baptized who. So let's keep going. Um, Verse 5, who then is Paul, whom is Apollos, but ministers of whom you believe, even as the Almighty gave to every man. I have planted and Apollos watered, but the Almighty gave the increase. So then neither is he that planteth, neither he that watereth, but the Almighty giveth the increase. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his word of his own labor. We'll go to verse 9. For we are laborers together with the Most High. You are the Almighty's husband. You are the Almighty's building. So we see this today when people feel if you're not from their camp or you're not from their congregation, then you are not saved. They go as far as that as saying you're not even saved. Like there is no chance of you being saved. Like their mind is they're so much self-centered to really believe out of 6 point something billion people on this planet, and your congregation or your camp, even if your camp's worldwide, you're like 0.00001% of the population. You believe every single person to get saved has to go through your camp. And if anyone, even if they believe that they could believe the same exact to the T, they could believe the same exact thing that you believe to the T, but if they're not in your camp, they're not saved. That's how far out these people are. They're carnal. They're carnal. They're carnal. But let's keep going. Give me chapter 4. We're going to be in 1 Corinthians all today. So chapter 4, I probably will have to bring some scripture out of the law because, we got to teach our law every scripture. So I'll probably bring at the end something out of the law. We're going to get some law and prophets in here. So chapter 4, let's get it. Verse 13. And we're going to read through 21. Verse 13, chapter 4. Being defamed and entreated, we are made as the filth of the world and as the offscoring of all things unto this day. He says, yeah, we preach the gospel and hey, we're hated everywhere we go. When they went and you read the book of Acts, the Apostle Paul was hated every single place he went. For though you have 10,000 instructors in Amashiach, yet you have not many fathers. For in Amashiach Yeshua I have begotten you through the gospel. Wherefore I beseech you that you be followers of me. For this cause I sent unto you Timothy, who is beloved son and faithful unto the Almighty, who shall bring you into remembrance of my ways, which be in Amashiach, as I teach everywhere in every congregation. Right? Now some are puffed up as though I would not come to you, but I will come shortly, and if the Almighty will, I will not the speech of them which are puffed up, but power. For the kingdom of the Almighty is not in word, but in power. For when I come, shall I come unto you with a rod or in love and in the spirit of meekness? So he's saying there's people puffed up because I haven't came. They are puffed up. They are high-minded. This is a problem. So one, we have the problem where it says there's envyings and strife and division. Oh, you got baptized by Apollos. I got baptized by Paul. Oh, you of them, I'm this. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little sex. And I've seen congregations in truth that even though there's 50, 60, 100 people, there's like the popular group of brothers and sisters, and then the unpopular or the mid, almost like high school. And it's like a big high school. I'm talking about congregations in truth, though. And it's sad because, hey, we should be all one. And we're going to get into this in a little bit. So we see the apostles is condemning this. He's writing this epistle or this letter, and he's condemning this behavior to the people. So it says, hey, there's some people that's puffed up. Maybe they got puffed up because the Almighty gave them the word, and so they think they're better. I hope I never come off like I'm better than any brother or sister. I hope I don't. I hope I never get to that point, no matter how big True Hebrews United gets or how small True Hebrews United gets. Hey, I'm just one piece of the puzzle. I stay humble. And because of that, the Almighty always increases me, whether in knowledge or whether in finances or whether in brotherhood, whatever. I thank the Almighty. I've never been in the situation. I've been in famines because it says there's a time to gain and there's a time to lose. And the best way to appreciate the Almighty blessing you, like for me to walk, is for me to the Almighty to take away my ability to walk. So sometimes I pray, thank you, Almighty, for walking. You know what I'm saying? And I've never thanked the Almighty for walking. But until He made it to where I couldn't walk for 2 days, thank you, Almighty, for walking. You know what I'm saying? So I know there's a time to gain, there's a time to lose. But I've never been in a place where the Almighty has just sent a famine where I'm just completely being depreciated and just money, finance, everything is just decreasing. And then the Almighty hasn't brought it back and blessed me more because I just stay humble and hey, I'm gonna keep His commandments. I'm gonna do His will. I'm gonna put Him first, and the Almighty will increase me. I've seen people that ever since they started taking the Almighty serious, the Almighty just started increasing them. When they weren't, Almighty is decreasing them. Take away here, take away here. Sin will take away from you. Eventually, you will sin will be your ruin. You might be some servants of Satan, like these elites that serve Satan, and Satan bless these people, Bohemian Grove, and doing these cults. Satan will bless. There's some people Satan are blessed, blessing their. Satan will bless his seed. But if you saying you serve the Almighty, or you know about the Word, and you dip dabbing in sin, the Almighty is going to be taken from you. Let's keep going. Give me chapter 5. It is reported commonly, so that way we got some people having envy and strife and having little clicks in the body, and then we got people puffed up. Now, let's go to chapter 5. It is reported commonly that it is fornication among you. Such fornication is not so named among the Gentiles that one should have his father's wife. So that is actually adultery, because even though he called it fornication, the act was committed. So meaning fornication, you didn't just lust after a woman in your heart and commit adultery in the heart. He said fornication because that is a physical act. But he slept with his stepmom. Let's keep going. And you are puffed up. So we have two sins. Not only the person that committed the two people that committed the sin, but the congregation that's puffed up. And have not rather mourned that he that done this deed might be taken away from you. Another situation is people in sin not kicking them out the body. We see that today where people's in fornication, still on the choir, still singing, still playing the drums, all that stuff, and they still keep, oh, well, he's our only drum player. Then you're just not going to have a drum player. He's our lead singer. Then you're just not going to have a lead singer. Then you shut the whole choir down because of sin. Hey, so be it. You don't just let these people you know are in sin still being able to be in the choir or play the drums or play the piano. How you going to lead me in worship when you in sin? How you going to be serving the Satan and supposed to lead me in worship towards the Most High? How does that work? But yet congregations do it to this day. They're puffed up. They're just like these people to this day. I've seen it at the old false churches. But let's keep going. For verily as absent in the body, but present in the spirit, I have judged already as though I was present concerning him that have done this deed. In the name of our Almighty Yeshua Mashiach, when you are gathered together in my spirit, which the power of the Almighty Yeshua Mashiach, to deliver one to Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit might be saved in the day of the Lord Yeshua Mashiach. Once again, that's how you know that there's true congregations, when they're kicking people out for sin. And we're not talking about little people that's just coming and visiting. We're talking about people that have been baptized, that repented, that's been warned. They did it anyways. Hey, bro, we're going to have to kick you out of the congregation. You slept with dude's wife. We're going to have to kick both of you guys out. Hopefully you repent and get it right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, nah, you're out of here. Ain't none of that. Nope, none of that foolishness. Nah. Oh, you're doing that? Nah. I'm serious. That even goes down to some of our kids. If our kids get baptized and, hey, they keep dip-dabbing in sin, hey, we got to kick you out of the congregation. It's going to be worse for my kids because they'll just get kicked out of the house. Hey, this is a godly house. If you want to serve Satan, you go out there and serve Satan. You're not going to stay in a godly house and still serve Satan. That's just not going to work. You know what I'm saying? As far as me and my house, we're going to serve the Almighty. So if you want to be in my house, you got to serve the Almighty. You know what I'm saying? You got to serve the Almighty. You can stay here till you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. You'll get married out. If you don't find a good wife or a good husband, you know what I'm saying? And you're 30, 40, don't even, hey, stay, stack chips, be on your grind, live the life, go on vacation, go to Singapore, go with your friends and go visit places in the world, stack your chips until you find that one. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to serve Satan, you'll be out right at 20. You know what I'm saying? Right at the age of accountability. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. We got to be able to stand strong in our convictions, stand strong in the Almighty's word, And the Almighty will bless us. And even if it's not in this time, it's in the world to come. New heaven, new earth, and new Jerusalem. Look for our kingdom. Our kingdom is not of this world. So let's keep going. So it says, kick these people out. Verse 7, purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as you are unleavened bread, and even Amashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Let us therefore keep the feast, not with the old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice or wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So you have people committing adultery and not getting kicked out, and these people are puffed up. They have it more, and they're like, man, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? I'll be hot, because I take stuff personal. Like, if I had a brother or a sister and another brother or sister supposedly failed to sin and cheated, I'll be hot. That will bother me. It says, because you just mess with someone's heart. You just did that to a sister of a daughter of the Most High, or you did that to a son of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? That stuff will make me hot. So same thing. If I had a brother, right? There's a brother in the Almighty, and his daughter, his daughter's boyfriend, our daughter's husband, put hands on her. You know what I'm saying? I will hope his daughter, serving the Most High, and the dude serving the Most High, but he slipped up. I'll be like, hey, let's roll up on him. Like, because that's how I take that stuff personal. Like, I have a love for brothers and sisters because it takes something to repent and be baptized. It means something to be a brother and sister in the Almighty. Not only to me, but to the Most High. It takes something. Anyone could say they saved, but the Almighty ain't saving anyone. So we're the best of the best. Out of, like they say, a 90% dropout rate to get into the Navy SEALs, it's a 99.999% dropout rate. Out of all the people that say they believe in the Bible, there's only a few that make it into the kingdom. So when I meet a fellow brother or sister, man, that means something to me. You know what I'm saying? We are the few that decided to love the Almighty with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul, and with all our strength. We are the few that did that. The few that truly repented, that truly put away sin, and truly sought the Most High, and not just said they did, and not just put up some posts on Facebook and say shalom everyone and all praises to the Most High, but you've been living in sin with Satan, serving the Most Low all week, and then Sabbath you want to say all praises to the Most High. So I take that personal, and I really love my brothers and sisters in the body. So let's keep going. Verse 9, I wrote unto you this epistle not to keep company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of the world, because we live in sin, we work with sinners, and we got to be a light to sinners to bring them to the Most High, right? Of the world, or with covenants, or extortions, or with idolaters, then must you needs to go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company if any man is called a brother, be a fornicator, or a covenant, or a idolater, or a reller, cussing all the time, or a drunkard, drinking. You people out there, make sure you stop that drinking. Don't even play around with it, because you guys come to this gospel and we'll have to cut you down. It says we can't keep company. Any people playing around, I just did every once in a while. Hey, the Bible says I cannot keep company with people that get drunk. So, a drunkard or extortioner, with such of one, not to even eat with them. For what have I to do to judge them that without? Do you not judge them that are within the body? But them that are without, the Almighty judges. Therefore, put away from you yourselves the wicked person. That's another problem we're having. These people aren't kicking people out of the congregation for sin. I cannot kick any person out of True Hebrews United or tell anyone to not fellowship with any brother unless there's sin upon them. And this is the problem with congregations as well. They'll say, because I have odds with this person, they'll tell their wife, hey, don't chill with his wife. But if there are two sisters and they have not committed sin, you cannot cause a schism in the body. You do not have that right. Just like a minister can't, just because they don't like your chemistry or you guys aren't jiving, no congregation could kick you out scripturally. The only way you could be kicked out and say you can't come to service no more is if there's sin on you. You committed adultery. You committed a sin. You're not in a repentant state. This is the only way. So I don't see how a lot of these camps, congregation, whatever, they just be kicking people out for no reason. And that because they don't pay their tithes or something dumb like that. Which tithes, yeah, legit, but they will kick them out simply because they're not seeing something. It's not that they committed sin. But it's simply because, oh, well, he's not really jiving, or he's the oddball, or he's the odd one out. They kick him out for the wrong reasons and don't kick him out for the right reasons. Let's keep going. Verse 6, chapter 6. Dare any of you having a matter go to the law before the unjust and not before the saints? So when you have a problem with people in the body, you should be able to come to the body. There's times where people say, hey man, Sister Whitney posted something. I was like, oh, go hit her up. Go hit her up. Yeah, how I deal with things different. I'm not saying every man runs his own home different, and I'm not here to judge every man how they run their home. I feel that for us to be a body, if any brother or sister has a problem with Sister Whitney, right, then they could go to Sister Whitney on the 101. Go over the phone and talk it out. And go over. And if they need an intercessor, an intermediate, then I could step in. Now, if it's like, oh, brother so-and-so, hey, I seen your wife with some other dude. Yeah, I'll go straight to the dude. I'll go straight to the husband, straight to the head. But if Sister so-and-so said something to my kid, some people are all come to me. It's like, I could address her right now. What she said to my kid, or how she accidentally pushed my kid over and didn't say sorry and didn't see if he was okay, I'm going to address that right now. Why do I have to go through you when if we're the body of believers? Why can't I go to another brother or sister? It has nothing to do with me circumventing or usurping your manhood of your wife. It has to do with, hey, we're brothers and sisters in the body. And at the end of the day, when we get into the kingdom, you guys aren't going to be married anyways. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but if a man says, hey, just go through me, I'll respect his rules. I'll respect every man's rule, how he runs his home. Every man runs his home different. As long as he runs his home holy and just and pure, then the way in which he goes about it, then so be it. I'm not here to dictate how a man runs his home. And you know what I'm saying? Most of the time, I don't even talk to married sisters, unless they, their husband is a unbeliever or something, then I will on the 101, because I don't know every man's role. I don't know every man's jealousy level. I don't know every man's insecurity level. And so I just don't even deal with it altogether. But that's how I run my home. I'm not an insecure dude. I'm not a jealous dude. And I don't run my home that way. If you have problems with my wife, or, you could be, hey, no problem, go hit her up. You guys work that out. You know what I'm saying? You guys could do that. You guys are adults. Work that out. You know what I'm saying? So praise the Almighty. So we see here, it says, do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? So we're going to be judging the world. We're going to be condemning the world. Remember, Ashiach says, hey, this generation will rise up, and the days of Noah, I think it says the days of Jonah will rise up and condemn this generation, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and greater than Jonah is here. It says the Queen of Sheba will rise up and condemn this generation, because she came to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And it says greater than Solomon is here. So we see that we're going to come and condemn this whole world to the lake of fire. Let's keep going. If then ye all have judgment of the things pertaining to this life, them to judge who are least esteemed in the congregation. It says, no, I skipped a verse. It says, know ye not know ye not, verse 3, that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? So we're going to be able to judge angels, these fallen angels. Let's keep going, right? If then you judge the judgment pertaining to this life, set them to judge that are least esteemed in the congregation. Hey, if you have a dispute, hey, I let this dude borrow my phone, he broke it, he replaced it, yeah, it was used, but maybe equal price or half off or whatever situation. You don't take brothers to court to the sinners. You don't take brothers to court to the sinners. And that's why, this is a side note, Hebrew man, this is what bothers us with Hebrew women, is when you go to the white man and call the cops. And I'm not prejudiced, but when you bring another nationality into our Hebrew conflict, that makes a major problem, because the other generation, you mess around and you bring some racist person into this situation now. He is biased against both of us. He has prejudice against the black male altogether, and you brought that into this situation now. I'm saying be careful. Same thing with Hebrew sisters. I know you might have deadbeat. If they could work it out and pay child support, and you guys could do it without another nationality getting into your mess, please do so. If you can't and you have to go, then hey, so be it. And that's outside of the body. You know what I'm saying? But if you have to go, so do it. You know what I'm saying? But that's a big problem. It's like these nationalities, a lot of these nationalities do not like Hebrew people. It says we be hated of all men, and nothing towards Europeans. But a lot of Europeans, we don't know which Europeans is prejudiced and which not. So I would rather not deal with them with family conflict at all than to, oh, I hope this cop that comes, or I hope this judge isn't prejudiced, or I hope, why even have to go through that? I don't even want to go through that. I'd rather just, hey, we have this situation. Now, let's say, for example, you have two people in the body, uh, they split up. For whatever reason, they split up. You know, they're getting into arguments and whatnot. No sin, they still go to the congregation. And there's a dispute on how to take care of the kids. You don't have to go to the court. You could, hey, let's go before the elders. Let's go for the minister and a couple other brothers, and hey, let's talk this out and see what godly people, not sinners, have to say what's a good judgment or what's a good amount for me to deal with this situation. Go to your brothers that are here for your salvation. Don't go to the sinners. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep going. So here's another problem they had. All right, let's keep going. I speak this to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you, not one that shall be able to judge between his brother? And that's the same thing I was telling you guys. Some of you guys out there coming to the body, you go through situations and you do not go and talk to sisters. You sisters out there going through it, you'll talk to mom, you talk to aunt, you talk to brother, you talk to sister, you talk to all your sinner family members, all your sinner friends, but you don't call brothers and sisters that's going to give you godly counsel. That's the same thing as going to the judge, because they're going to hear your information and give you counsel, or come to some conclusion or some judgment and give you counsel on what to do. It's the same thing. So when you go through situations, your first call should be praying to the Most High. But after that should be going to brothers and sisters in the body and man, I'm going through this situation with wife, or I'm going through this situation with husband, or how do I deal with this, or my husband's not doing this or that. Go to godly people who will give you godly judgment. You know, go to righteous people that gives you righteous judgment. Do not go to sinners. Do not go to the world. What kind of counsel do you think you're going to go for people who serve Satan? Just think about it. What kind of counsel you think? Now, if you're going for how to make money, how to invest, yeah, that's worldly things, and these sinners know about worldly things. How to be a master fisherman. You might not go to a brother and sister because maybe they don't fish. Go, okay, you go to that sinner. Go to that person that has that skill set. I get it. But when it comes to spiritual things, comparing spiritual things with spiritual that are spiritually discerned, that the carnal man cannot receive that. We just read that. So they can't give you no spiritual counsel because they're spiritually discerned. They can't do that. The carnal man can't receive those things. So let's keep going. Brother, you go up to law with brother, and that before the unbelievers. Verse 7. Therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because you go to law one another. Why do you not rather take the wrong? Why do you not rather suffer yourself to be defrauded? Hey, why don't you just take an L? You know, if you can't, instead of going to the sinners, like, hey, you know what, man, that guy said he was going to borrow $600. He never paid me the $600. I let him borrow it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. The Almighty will bless me. The Almighty, will bless me. I've took an L for that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to the church about it, but I took an L trying to help out a brother or some so-called sister in the body. But sometimes, take the L, because you really take the win. The Almighty's seen that. You didn't go to the believer. You didn't go to small claims court or whatnot. Almighty's seen that. So it's like, hey, just take the wrong. Nay, you do wrong, defraud, and that your brethren. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of self with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. These people ain't gonna make it in. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And some of you, and such were some of you, but you are washed, but you are sanctified, but you are justified in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and by the Spirit of the Most High. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful, but I will not be brought under the bondage. Yeah, it's lawful for you to take your brother to the court, but that's not expedient. That's still wrong. Let's keep going. Meats for the belly, and belly for the meats. The Almighty shall both destroy it and them. Now the body is not for fornication. right? It's not for fornication, but for the Almighty, and the Almighty for the body. And the Almighty have raised up the Almighty, and Yah have raised up the Almighty, and will also raise us up by his own power. Know ye not that the your bodies are members of Amashiach? Shall then I take the members of Amashiach and make them members unto a harlot? The Almighty forbid. So he's dealing with just like chapter 5 when there is fornication among them. Let's keep going. Know ye not that which is joined unto a harlot shall be is one flesh? For he said he for two saith he shall be one flesh. But he that is joined unto the Almighty is one spirit. Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. What, know ye not that your body is the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh which is in you, which shall have of the Most High, and you are not of your own? So we'll start right there. Now, verse 7, chapter 7. So we got people taking a court. We got people sleeping with people's wives. We got people having envy and strife and saying, I'm Paul and Apollos. We got people puffed up in the congregation. Let's keep going. Chapter 7 deals with dating and deals with marriage. So we're not going to deal with that. Those are questions they asked the Apostle Paul, and he actually wrote back and responded on how to deal with marriage and whatnot and stuff like that. So, go from there. So chapter 8, they wrote onto him questions about eating food with idols. And so he deals with that. Not that he's condemning them, but they wrote on to the Apostle Paul questions on this topic. And so he's just referring back into these topics. These other ones are I'm dealing with parts and problems in the body of Amashiach that he's writing these letters to address, to say, hey, you need to get this stuff in order if you want to make it into the kingdom. So let's keep going. Let's go to chapter 9 and verse 6. Chapter 9, verse 6. You guys with me? Everyone with me? The scripture doing talking. Cool. Chapter 9, and we're going to start at verse 6. Let's get it. Or I only, I gotta do some shout outs too. Or I only and Barnabas have not we power to forbear working? Who goeth to warfare at any time of his charge? Who planteth a vineyard and eat not of the fruit thereof? Right? So, okay. And eateth not of the fruit, or who feedeth the flock and eateth not of the milk of the flock? Say these things as a man, or saith the law the same also? For it is written in the law of Moses, thou shalt not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth the corn. Doth the Almighty take care of the oxen? Saith he altogether for our sakes, for our sakes, no doubt this is written, that he that ploweth should plow in hope, that he may that he that thresheth in hope shall be partakers of his hope. If we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing that we should reap unto you of your carnal things? So he's dealing with tithes and offering. Yes, he does not specifically says tithes and offering in here, but we already know the law, so it still stands, right? So it says, I'm putting on you spiritual things, shall not reap carnal things. And the law, what did they do? Not only you brought your tithes and offering, but of the sacrifice you brought to the Most High, and they're cutting and they're doing the sacrifice for you. You bring this to offer up the sacrifice, and they got to eat of that sacrifice, that unleavened bread or that flour you brought, whether it's tithes or offering, or just tithes are your offering. They reaped. These priests reaped. They did the spiritual aspect of it and lighting the candlesticks and doing the sacrifices. And you come into the temple or come into the synagogue, right? But they're reaping of those things. These priests were reaping. So it says, we're giving unto you spiritual things. Like there's a lot of you that watch service. Should not I reap the carnal things off that? And if you want to donate to PayPal, we don't really press anyone donate. And if you want to do a love offering, that's cool. We don't really push tithes and offerings to people who are baptized. So I'm not even worried. And plus, my hands minister to my own necessity. I don't tell how much money I make, but yeah, it's going to be for the furthering of the gospel, tithes and offering. It's going to be for the pushing of the gospel, not to take care of me or my household. I'm pretty good. So anyways, praise Almighty. Let's keep going. Verse 12, if others be partakers of the power over you, are not we rather? Nevertheless, we have used this power but suffer all things that we should not hinder the gospel. And that's the same thing with the tithes and offering. I'd rather invest that money in things that's going to create jobs for the people of the Most High and or get preps for the people of the Most High. I would rather invest that in, and I'm not knocking ministers that have a big congregation. And if I had to be a full-time minister, then yeah, if the congregation got so big to where I couldn't work because I needed to devote myself full-time to the gospel, I get it. But at that point, I'm not at that point. But I would rather invest that to where if there's an emergency, we could come and there's food and resources for the whole congregation. I would rather set the congregation up for success to no matter what happens, earthquake, whatever, flood, we can meet up and we good. You know what I'm saying? Versus these mega churches that's their ministers live in mansions while there's people praying that the Almighty could give them some food to eat for next week because they don't have enough money on their paycheck or the coronavirus. They got laid off and they don't have food to feed their kids, but the minister and the congregation they go to is living in a mansion, having a Bentley and all that stuff. Well, let's keep going. Right? So verse 13, do you not know that they which minister about the holy things liveth off the things of the temple, which we just dealt with, and they which wait on the altar are partakers of the altar? Even so the Almighty have ordained that they which preach the gospel should live off the gospel. Now, if tithes and offering is done away with, and if I'm a full-time pastor, how am I going to live off the gospel? How am I going to pay my rent? Let's read that again. Even so have the Almighty ordained that they which preach the gospel shall live off the gospel. How does that work if tithes and offering is done away with? How do they get gas in their car? Think about it. Think about it. If you have a building, who pays the lease on that building and electricity and the water and the trash? Who does that? If tithes and offering is done away with, I don't know. Well, we just pray and we don't pay rent. But let's keep going. Even verse 15, but I have used none of these things, same as me, neither is written neither have I written these things that I should be done unto me, for it is better for me to die than any of them shall make my glory in void. I have positioned in my place to where no matter how big the congregation gets, I will not have to live off the gospel. Even if I was a full-time minister, no, I'm not saying I'm super balling, but I position it myself to where I could be able to make income without having to take from the gospel. And not knocking ministers that live off the gospel, because it is ordained in verse 14 we just read. I just position myself in a place to where I won't have to do that. So praise the Almighty. And I don't know the future. You know what I'm saying? Maybe my leg gets cut off, or maybe something happens to where I can't do the occupation I choose to choose, and I might have to live off the gospel. I don't know the future. I hope that doesn't happen. But, that's just the path I chose. So let's keep going. So then we have, people skipping out in the tithes and offering in 1 Corinthians. Let's go with we'll go with chapter 11 now. Chapter 11, verse 17. Chapter 10, it deals with, he's teaching us how you could get delivered from the Most High just to get destroyed from the Most High. He dealt with Moses coming out and how he brought them out and delivered them just to be destroyed. And as an example, if you could repent from your sin and get baptized, but if you go back to sin and stop having faith in the Most High and fear the Most High, he will come back and destroy you. And when you get into the lake of fire, you shall be beaten with many stripes. Your punishment shall be worse. But I'm just dealing with the problems they had in 1 Corinthians. Chapter 11, verse 17. Hopefully you guys with me. You guys with me? Almost done. A couple more chapters. Chapter 11, verse 17. And let's get it. Now I declare unto you I praise you not. You are come together not for the better, but for the worse. They got a problem. These people are coming to worship the Most High, and not for the better, but for the worse. Praise Almighty. Anything? Shabbat Shalom, all that. Hopefully you guys are with me. Cool. Let's keep going. For the worse. For first of all, when you come together, I do hear that there are divisions among you, and I partly believe it. There are divisions, all this and that. And I always try to get it to where all the brothers could talk to all the brothers. All this is because you don't want one sister just only talking to this sister and excluding other sister. No, let's get rid of that division. Let's do it how the Almighty wants us to do it. You know, we've seen how these camps and these congregations do it. Let's do it how the Almighty wants us to do it. Let's do it to where I'm cool with all the brothers. Yeah, there's other brothers I'm closer with because we both go fishing or we both go to the gym or whatever. There's something different. But hey, any brother could always pop up at the house. Any brother, we could chill and just talk for hours and open up the scripts and pray and whatnot. If I pass by this brother's house, I'm going to stop to see what's up. Just like if I pass by the brother that I'm closer with, I'm going to see what's up with them. I'm going to show equal love to all brothers and sisters in the body. That's how it should be. So let's keep going. Verse 20, when you come together, therefore, in one place, this is not to eat the Almighty Supper. You guys are coming together not to eat the Almighty Supper. You say you are, but let's keep going, right? For in eating, everyone taketh before the other his own supper, and one is hungry, and others are drunken. And remember, they used to drink wine. There wasn't wells. They didn't have free access to water, because getting water, you had to dig a well, unless you lived by a river or a waterfall or a geyser. So they did wine, because wine could stay fermented, and you could be hydrated. This is why sailors were drunk on ships. Not because they drank whiskey all the time. It's because if you're on the ocean for 8 months, they could not keep their water from getting stagnant and being poisoned and mildew and all that stuff and fungus and whatnot. So after the water was fully drunk, they lived off of alcohol while they were on these ships, and it created sailors being alcoholic. That's why. Same thing with wine. When they came with bread and wine, they weren't alcoholics. In the Bible, it wasn't for to be alcoholics. It's just there wasn't wells everywhere. It didn't mean just because you dug a well, you're going to hit water either. So it says, and others are drunken. You're right. Let's keep going. What have verse 22? Have you not houses to eat and drink in, or despise the church of the Most High? I shame them that have not, which shall not say unto you, what shall I say unto you? Shall I praise you in this thing? I praise you not. It says there's people hungry. You come in a service. Now keep in mind, say you had a synagogue in your family, say you ate breakfast. All right, we're going to service. It's Sabbath, we're going to the synagogue. Because remember, there's the temple and then there was churches. But you had to be at the temple 3 times a year: Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Pentecost, and Feast of Tabernacle. But if you lived in way far from Jerusalem, not every tribe lived in Jerusalem, they had synagogues, right? And you went to the synagogues to hear the reading of the word, because the Levites were spread into all the land, and they made synagogues, or what they call churches or whatever, right? Places of worship. You went there on the Sabbath, but on the 3 times a year you came to Jerusalem. So you're like, okay, we're going to eat breakfast. We wake up, we eat breakfast. Say this modern day today. Wake up, you eat breakfast, everyone. All right, let's go to service at 10 o'clock. You guys ate. You get in there in 20, 30 minutes. You get in the car, you're in there in 20, 30 minutes. You have service 2, 3 hours, whatever. You go home, you eat lunch. But remember, back in the day, you ate and you walked for 3 to 4 or 5 miles, or you walked an hour to get to that synagogue. You feel me? So by the time you got to that synagogue, you're probably hungry again. But the problem lies is that when you guys come together, you sitting here eating because you got money, and there's brothers and sisters that's dirt poor, and their kids are there, and their kids are hungry, and they're watching your family and your kids eat food. That's a problem. That's a serious problem. So he's saying eat when you're at your house. That's not right. You know what I'm saying? There's poor people. There's not every brother and sister got money to bring food and whatnot, and you're sitting there eating, throwing extra meat off the bone on the floor. These kids don't have nothing to eat. It says, man, you think I'm going to speak? I'll praise you not for these things. You know what I'm saying? It says you have houses to eat at. Now, service is a feast day. So you know what we do with the tithes and offering? We buy food and we just set up food and all the brothers eat, and then we usually get into some prayer, and then we go ahead and do the reading of the word, and then we had to switch it because everyone was getting tired, you know what I'm saying, during the reading of the word. So we said, we just gonna eat at the end, because you get full and then you pray, and these people be praying and then they fall asleep in prayer and whatnot. So we just flipped it and we just eat at the end, but everyone eats, you know what I'm saying, to solve that problem. So let's keep going. Verse 23, for I have received of the Almighty which I have delivered unto you, that the Almighty Yeshua, the same night which he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body which is broken. Do this in remembrance of me. This is what he said for remembrance, not for no Christmas, for no false birthday and whatnot. And when he had given thanks, he braked it and said, take, eat, this is my body which, verse 25, sorry. In the same manner, also he took the cup, and when he had supped it, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. Do ye as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Almighty's death till he come. Wherefore, whoever shall eat that bread and drink that cup of the Almighty unworthy shall be guilty of the body and the blood of the Almighty. And let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthy, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Almighty's body, because he came to die for your sins, not for you to live in sin and take upon his supper. So let's keep going. For this cause many are among you are sickly, and among you are weak and sickly among you, and sleep, meaning you die early. For we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. For if we judge ourselves, we should not be judged. So don't take the Lord's Supper if you're living in sin, so the Almighty doesn't judge you. But when we are judged, we are chastised of the Almighty, that we should be not condemned with the world. Wherefore, my brethren, when you come together to eat, tarry one for another. And if any man is hungry, let him eat at home, that you come not together unto condemnation. And the rest I will set in order when I come. So there's another problem. These people come to service and they go ahead and eating real good, living real lavish. And there's other brothers and sisters out there that have nothing. You know what I'm saying? They have nothing. That's not right. So let's keep going. Oh, and that's not forgetting people come in drinking way too much wine. You come to service and you drink way too much wine, and then you get drunk. This is why I say just better just to leave it alone. Like, because, see, the difference with them is they drank wine because they had to. You don't have to drink a beer, or you don't have to drink wine. You choose to. So when you get drunk, it's way worse than them, because if there is no well in the city, when they do their vineyards during the harvest and they get their grapes and they make wine to make it to where when it's dry season and there's no rain or the well dries up, they have something to keep them hydrated. They always have to play that risk of not drinking too much to get drunk. They have no choice but to play that game. But here, you choose to play that game when you choose to pick up that beer. You choose to play that game when you choose to pick up that wine, or pick up that Colorado, or pick up that vodka, or pick up that whiskey. You choose to straddle the fence. See, there is an excuse for that. They had no choice but to drink wine. What's your excuse? There's plenty of water at all these grocery stores. You choose to play that game. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, maybe not this week or maybe not next month, but then you lose, and it's way worse. Because it's like, you didn't have to play the game. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to play the game. So let's keep going. 2 more chapters. Let's go with chapter 14. What do we do? We did chapter 11. Let's go to chapter 12. Spiritual gifts. What time we got? Oh, we're going to finish this. I'm going to do a part 2. Because we got like a lot more to cover. And I didn't even get into the news. So, praise the Almighty. We'll do 1 Corinthians part 2. And we got quite a more to teach on this. So hopefully I broke down some of this. And this is to show that even in the body there's problems, but we have to address these problems if we want to make it into the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Other brothers and sisters are at different walks in life and different maturities, and we have to give these brothers and sisters time. Other congregations are at different levels of knowledge and maturity, and we have to give these other brothers time as well. We'll share them the scriptures, we give some suggestions, we ask some questions, and maybe they'll take that situation and they grow. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into the news. We'll get into this news with your boy Biden and your boy and inflation. We're just going to deal with the inflation right now. Inflation is up 4.2%. And I'm going to show you how this is going to get into how this affects the saints of the Most High. Inflation is up 4.2%. So if you're not getting a 4.2% raise or greater, you're not going to be keeping up with inflation. So if you make the same amount next year, you actually make 4.2% less because you have less buying power. But with that, lumber went up. Homes went up 30%. Homes went up 30% because of inflation. Lumber went up 130%, and you already know this lumber crisis. Plumbing, 3.4%. Plumbing, like the faucets and different metal fittings for the plumbing. Hardware, 31%. Nuts, bolts, all your hardware, all your pieces to build a house or build anything to do with that, 31%. paint, just 2%. Marble or granite or whatnot for countertops, 6.4%. Food, 3.5% for food. All food went up. Gas, 22%. This is overall, not some states are different. New cars, 9%. Cars cost 9% more. And that's the most it ever went up in 68 years. All right, let's go with eating out, 3.1%. Seeds and plants went up 10.5% for you to plant your own food. Microchips, 25%. You know, there's a shortage with microchips. Soybeans, 23%. Right? Let's get with this. Unemployment went down from the 12 to 14 in the beginning of the corona. It went down to 6.2%. But the Hebrews from last month to this month, there is more Hebrews unemployed. But the unemployment went down. So the European people, their unemployment went down, but the Hebrew people, their unemployment went up. So that means who was the first to get pulled back to the workforce? It was not Hebrew Israelites, which I keep telling you, this ain't your land. So it plays a role. It's going to keep us poor when they keep us unemployed. So let's keep going. Let's get it. All right. So from the beginning to now, they pumped $4 trillion into the economy, right? And then that's more money got pumped in 1 year than from 2008 to 2014. There's a $2 trillion infrastructure bill, which you know Biden's doing this garbage, which the last of that Corona stuff, most of it went to few of those dollars actually went to the common people, middle class, lower class, and whatnot. The $2 trillion infrastructure bill altogether is going to be $6 trillion. Now, I say that because the US dollar will collapse. For there to be a system, a beast system, a sinful system to get enacted, the dollar has to fail. You know what I'm saying? So I believe the reason why they're doing that is because they're getting more people or more countries to collapse the dollar. They're getting more countries to not want to use the dollar, and they're causing this great inflation, which is going to collapse. We do not have the money to support the printing press that they're doing. It's going to collapse. Two, that plays with the saints of the Most High is because you cannot keep a job that's not going to pay you more than 4%. We're trying to get out of Babylon here, right? So you need to make more money. You need to keep up. You know what I'm saying? You need to make more money every year to get yourself in a rate to get out of this country. Some of you, I'm telling you, it's going to get real hot in this country. What's it going to get to? It's going to get to the point. The reason why I could see how the Almighty is going to, you're going to be a partaker of this world's destruction is because it's going to get so wicked to where you're going to have to compromise the gospel some way to stay in this country, whether via vaccination, whether via what's going to happen when they say, oh, well, in order for you to go in any government building, you need to get a vaccination. So you can't get a driver's license now. So you lost your social security card. Well, you can't go into a state or run or government federal building unless you unless you have a vaccination. Oh, you can't enroll your kids in school unless you give your kids this vaccination. Oh, you can't. Oh, we're going to pass more legislation like they're passing for you to homeschool your kids. You need a bachelor's degree, and they're making it real tight to pass law. See, anything you circumvent, they'll just make a law to say, no, that's illegal now. They have a real good ability of making you a criminal for no reason. They'll just pass a law, and now you're a criminal. Oh, you found a way to get out of this trap? I'll just write another bill. Oh, now you're breaking the law. Oh, you found another way? I'll write another bill. Now you're breaking the law. That's what they do. They specialize in making you a criminal. And so it's going to get to the point to where for you to even stay in this land, you would have had to compromise the gospel some way. Well, I had to send my kids to school. Well, if this vaccination has pork in it, and the Bible says for you not to eat pork, and you can't do the home study of your kids, now what? But if you would have got out of Babylon like the Almighty told you to do, maybe you wouldn't have to fight that battle. Maybe you wouldn't have to be in that fork in the road. Maybe you wouldn't have to deal with that. But you being like Lot's wife and you love this land so much, Like, what is America giving you? It's so wicked. I don't see why you got the Stockholm syndrome to where you feel like you have to stay in America to survive. Like the standard of living. Like most of us are middle to lower class anyway, so we're not even reaping the fruits of the United States. We're not making the millions. We're not making the billions. We're not reaping the finest benefits of the U.S. with all the tax breaks and how these rich people get out of paying taxes. We're not enjoying the best benefits of the U.S. anyways. So it's like, why not live? I show you guys how our standard of living in Belize, and you guys see the household. Our standard of living is way better than how we are if I was living here, even with the income I make. Even with the income I make, my standard of living is way better in Belize. I got way more land, way more things, way more opportunities, way more ways to make money. And I'm not really pushing Belize. I'm saying, hey, when the Almighty's saying come out, why don't you have a plan B? What's taking you? Some of you guys know you guys need a passport, and it's taking you over a year to get a passport. $180. How much is your phone? Your phone's what? Oh, I've just recently bought the cheapest phone because I had to buy a new church phone. The cheapest phone was like $180 after taxes, like $240 because their extra little T-Mobile fee. Like out the door, you're paying $200 for the cheapest phone you could possibly get when you go get a phone. A passport is $180. I mean, but you know, and most people they got the $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, $1,200 phone. You know what I'm saying? Knowing most people, it's like, you know, like what is it in this land that you feel that it's so good? I mean, I know it gets scary to leave and you're going into a land that you did not know, but that's what he told Abraham. Abraham, go into a land. Abraham, here we go. Let's see if you can see this. Go into a land that you and your fathers have not seen, that you don't even know, you've never been to. Go into a land that you've never been to, right? He says, and he did it. He did it. And yeah, he had money. He did it. He just went into the land. Hey, I'm just believing the Almighty. Almighty says, get out of Babylon. I'm not going to tell you where to go, but you just get out. It's like, all right, well, that's what the Almighty told me to do. Then that's what I'm going to do. And just run. And you are going to sit here. And if you do that, because I'm going to sit here with binoculars, just watching the U.S. crumble and fall, watching their debt goes up, watching they pass, you could choose your gender and teaching same-sex education in the school and poisoning your kids and indoctrinating your kids. I'm just going to sit there and watch this country just get destroy itself from the inside out. And that's before the Almighty comes and crushes it. That's before the Almighty comes and destroys it. And to see how poisoned, how toxic this country has become. But you'll sit here and stay here and stay here and stay here and stay here. And there's a better way. Like it's like being in the hood, like the United States is your hood. Like you talk to gang members, all they know is the hood. All they know is LA. All they know is San Diego. They don't know anything else but to just be in the hood. This is my hood. This is where I grow at. This I'm always gonna bang. I'm always gonna bang this block. This is who I am. I'm gonna live on these streets and I'm gonna die on these streets. And you can't talk to them to know that there's a better way than the hood. Sometimes, man, I remember one time I took my boys, I was banging. And we went somewhere in nature, dude. I took them to like a river or so. I forgot where we went. We went somewhere to the beach or we went somewhere. And when they got there, dude, and they seen like no concrete, no cars, and they were like almost like they didn't even think this place existed. Like it was like, man, it's like tranquility. And I'm talking about we banging, we had alcohol, whatnot, but how they smoked that blunt and how they drank that alcohol wasn't the same as on the block. It wasn't the same like, it was like they were actually enjoying being out of the hood. Like didn't even know that places like this existed. They were smoking, yeah, but they weren't smoking like the normal confined. They were smoking with tranquility. And I know you can't sin with tranquility, but hopefully that makes sense to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is when you guys in America. Because you've never been outside America that you can't imagine yourself living better. than what you've been living. A gang member can't imagine, most of them can't think about them owning a multi-million-dollar company, owning their own business. They can't even think that far. They can't even believe in them. They just been stuck in the hood for so long, and you guys are stuck in the States. You can't imagine yourself living a better life outside of the U.S. because of, oh, the American dream. Oh, America's the best. Oh, America's the powerful. America does this. And America's so great. And America's the savior of the day. And so, and you are so brainwashed into thinking that your life cannot be better than what it is. But if your dollar goes farther, and you're going to spend 230 years of your life paying off a house here, when we could pay off our house in 3 years in Belize, a bigger house than what you got, or 5 years, let's say 7 years. I could build a house twice your size in Belize in 7 years than what you pay for in 30 years. I could buy twice as much land, maybe probably 50 times more land for the price you pay for your land. Some places in New Mexico and Texas is just the same price as Belize, or even cheaper, but that's like desert nowhere. But it's not going to be as fertile. I could live a better life outside. My kids could grow up, and I don't have to worry about them getting pulled over by the cops for the color of their skin and getting racially profiled. I have to worry about them just being just having a tail signal. Next thing you know, my kid's shot dead because they thought he had a gun. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about that. But you guys still want to stay in Babylon. I don't understand it. I don't get it. So it's going to get tight, and it's going to be put in a position where you're going to have to compromise some way to stay in this land. And then when he passes judgment, I see why you're going to be a partaker of this nation's sins and this nation's plagues. Because you decided to keep staying here. But we're going to be having land for sale. I'm not going to say too much on the Sabbath. We're setting up for mainly for brothers and sisters, but anyone that wants to get out of Babylon, hit us up. Not on the Sabbath. We got land. We're going to get our subdivides. We're going to get our roads so you have access to your land. We got some quarter acres, half acres, full acre lots, affordable prices. Set it up shop. It's fertile. If you have any questions of what our land looks like, just look at the pictures of what we have in Belize and the rivers and all this stuff we be doing. It's nothing but green in Belize. You plant a seed and you forget about it and your tree grows. You plant a tree, it's going to produce some mangoes, some limes, some coconuts. It's going to do what it does. So, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to have that. It's not going to be as hard. We paved the way. You just got to follow the path. So with all that said and be it done, keep standing. Don't drop standards and give the Almighty a hand clap. We're going to do a 1 Corinthians chapter part 2 because I didn't get to finish next Sabbath. Shalom. Now, let me read some of these comments real quick. Praises. All right, shalom.